Today on Broncos Actually, we're joined by Malarie Howard, an SCU alumna and Los Angeles-based screenwriter. Malarie is currently working on developing her own original TV series, Spiraling. Malarie is also staffed as a story editor on CW's In the Dark, which is now streaming on Netflix. Tell us a little about yourself and your journey at SCU.
I am a writer and storyteller, kind of always been that way since I was little. Found my way to Santa Clara because my dad made me apply to one more school on the Common App. And I toured the school and it was like perfect for me. And there's just something that I connected to immediately on that campus. What I really liked about the communication school specifically was that it allowed me to explore different possible careers under the umbrella of communications. And I actually thought I wanted to be a journalist until I took my first film class with Waylon. It just clicked for me, not only like enriching my creative life, but also my perspective as seeing storytelling as a potential business and way to make money and pursue a career.
How did SCU uniquely prepare you for your career path?
The curriculum was so integrative. It allowed me to work on other parts of myself other than my creative life that set me up for an industry. I think a lot of creatives, when they go to art school or they go to film school, which is a totally fine option, they come into an industry thinking that it's going to be like, I just get to create, I just get to like write, I just get to make movies. And that's part of it. But then there's also such a business side to it. It is, in a sense, an institution. And so there are a lot of moving pieces that I think Santa Clara prepared me for, whether it's just understanding how my content might be received by an audience, how I might change the story to fit different platforms, whether it's like feature writing or on TV, or if it's going to be on Snapchat, things like that, because, the landscape is constantly changing and the distribution platforms are constantly changing. Also, just understanding the responsibility of storytelling. The two professors that come to my mind are Professor Whalen, and Professor Kratz. She did a lot of courses on understanding media and its impact on the community and representation in media. So I was already starting to think about, like, who do I want to speak to? What do I want to say about myself? What do I want to say about what I think about life? And how do I want to say it? And where do I want it to live in the world?
As a writer, how do you deal with rejection or criticism?
This might be a cheesy answer, but if you are writing because you love it and
Mhm.
because it's a story that you need to tell and it's coming from an authentic place and you're not doing it just to make a sell or to make money, it doesn't hurt that bad. There's a time and place for every story, and it may not come out the way you anticipated, but you can always go back to the drawing board and rearrange some things. Or sometimes you wind up like a side character in the original story, you realize like that's the main character, that's the way in, and you realize that that might work better for maybe the certain political or social climate that we're in.
What hurdles have you encountered and how have you dealt with them?
The first one is being placed in a box because of my identity. A lot of Hollywood is talking about diversity right now, but to me, in a lot of spaces, it's not really diversity, it's tokenism. And so they want a very specific experience of a Black woman or of a Black person or of a woman or of a queer person, etc.
Mhm.
And if you don't fit the box that Hollywood had created for you, it's really hard to make your voice heard. People will compare you to other writers or creators that look like you, even if you are completely different from them. I also think another problem is the balance of being a creative and a business person. I'm still pretty new in my career, so I'm constantly trying to figure out, how do I keep the integrity of my story, but also sell it?
Mhm.
Because there are production companies and studios that have mandates and they want to reach new audiences, or they have, a specific tone that they can't really break outside of. So it's, how do I take the feedback or take the reality of what the suits are looking for,
Mhm.
but also stay true to myself and stay true to my story? I would say those are the two, I'll call them problems.
What types of solutions do you see for these problems?
Just opening up the
Mhm.
industry so that other people can come in and do what feels best for them. People in the industry are very much stuck in a pattern of what old Hollywood used to be.
Mm,
And, you have millennials and Gen Z coming in, and we just don't operate like boomers or even Gen X. And you see a lot of heads of studios and production companies trying to understand us and figure us out. And you see a lot of younger writers and younger actors and directors pushing back on it. But then you also see some that are just, I might as well go with the flow. This is the way it is. And I really want to discourage people from just saying this is the way it is and continuing a toxic cycle and a very exclusive industry.
What does the entrepreneurial mindset mean to you?
Especially in this industry, it's knowing how to collaborate, knowing how to work with other people, because you can't do it all by yourself. There will be times where you have options and one looks really great on paper and makes the most sense. And maybe they have the most clout and they have a lot of money to give you or invest in you. And then there's somebody else that maybe is just as green as you are or doesn't have the same reputation as the big shot. But if you have to work with these people and if you have to trust them with your art or you have to trust them with your baby, essentially, you want to feel good with them. Even if you're not going to be friends, like you want to spend time with them. You want every conversation you have with them to inspire you and make your project better or get you excited, That's a part of entrepreneurship that I don't hear very often, just working with other people and not just mentors, but also, peers, people on your level who are really good at something that maybe you don't have the same skill set for. Yeah, I would say collaborating in a smart way and in a way that makes you feel good versus what everyone's telling you is the right move, listening to your intuition.
Thanks, Mallory. Everyone, be sure to subscribe and check out our next video.